Hi guys, today I'm gonna be making a video about the truth. The main reason why I left my house. It's been a very, very difficult, past year and beginning of this year because, there was just so many things that happened and, I thought I could fix things and I thought I could, just make things right. And it kind of just like failed on me. So this is going to be really tough for me because today I got a call and it just really upset me. So the main reason why I left my house is because of my mom's husband. He goes by the name of Christian or Christian Cuevas. This man is the worst person on earth, honestly. Like, if you were my friends, you guys all knew how, how badly I was treated and how strict my parents were and how I couldn't do anything when you guys invited me places or told me to stay after school or something about something small like a project. I've talked to a couple of my friends and they know the truth, but I want to make sure that everyone knows it because it's the least I can do now. So, okay, so where to begin? Christian, mentally, physically, and sexually abused me. It's very hard for me to say that because, it's to everyone, and this is going to be posted on Facebook, on YouTube, on everything, and, I'm a victim, and this started happening when I was 7, and, when you're 7, you don't know what's right from wrong, you don't know anything, and I was severely taken advantage of, and, sorry, it's really hard for me to talk to this because most of my family doesn't know, and I haven't told them because I had an open case on him. I had gone to the police, and I was working with them to bring this man down. But I'll explain later what happened there. So, when I was 7, it was the first time that I was ever molested by Christian Cuevas, and it was hard. I mean, I didn't know what was right from wrong. I was already getting severely tortured. Like, I was getting beat, and I'd get in trouble for anything. Like, I would just, get in trouble for, like, not cleaning up at 7. Or I would get in trouble for not doing what they told me to do. Or because I made my sister cry or something like that. And I would get spanked until I bled. Or until I had really bad bruises on my butt. And I would just get very abused. And my mom was never there to see it because she was always working to make sure that we had a roof over our head and food to eat. Sorry. So, I thought everything that was happening to me was punishment. And there was this one time where Christian had stuck like a pen in the wrong place and I started bleeding. And as a kid, you see anything that has blood and you just freak out because you know that's abnormal and you shouldn't be bleeding. So I remember I was freaking out and I didn't know what to do. And I was like, what did I do to deserve this? Like, can you please let me understand what I did wrong so that you can make me bleed and you can make me feel this way? And he was just like, shut up, you know what, you deserve this. Don't tell your mom or I'm gonna kick your ass. And as a kid, I was frightened. And I did. I told my mom about it. And I think she just went into shock. She didn't know what to say. And I was in the car with her at the time when I told her that he had done this to me. And she brought him over. She said, Leslie, tell him what you just told me that he did. And I was like, no, like, he's right there. He's gonna fucking kill me. Like, how can you expect me to say something like that in front of, the person who hurt you, in front of, the molester, in front of the pedophile? How are you supposed to say that? And I was just very scared as a child, and I was like, I'm not gonna say it. And she was like, okay, well then I'll tell him. She's just like, Leslie told me that you stuck a pen up her and she started bleeding and she thought that wasn't right. Is that true? And he said, no, I never did that. Why would I do that? I would never do that. If she did something wrong, I would never do that. I would never put a finger on her. And my mom turns around to look at me and she's like, is that true? And while my mom is turned around, he's doing this. And like, as a kid, I'm seeing that and I'm scared because I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't want him to hurt my mom. I don't want, anything wrong to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. So, I told her that it didn't happen. And, that I just made it up. But honestly, as a mother, how could you believe that a 7-year-old made up a story like that? So vivid and so honest. How can a 7-year-old know what that is or say something like that if it didn't happen, You should believe your children when they tell you anything like that. And time went on and I was like kind of out of the blue, not out of the blue, but I wasn't in his realm. We had moved around a lot, but I remember seeing a lot of things happen. He would very much abuse me, my brother, and my sister, and it was horrible. Like, I would always beg my mom to go to work with her because I knew that this would happen. Like, she'd leave and he'd just stay behind and he'd get to do whatever he wants to us. And he would just get away with it. And he would make a perfect impression when she would get home, or if we had some sort of bruising, he would just tell her, like, oh, they did this and whatever, they deserved it. And my mom would just kind of brush it off because she thought, this man is a good man. He's taking care of my kids. I'm going to have his child soon, so I'm just going to let it happen, whatever. But my life was so fucked up. Honestly, I just wish that, like, my mom would never meet him. But then again, like, if she would have never met him, my brother wouldn't be born. And a big part of me just wishes that when I was a child, I would have just found the courage to say, yeah, he did that to me. And I would just be a lot happier right now. But I'm trying not to cry. I'm trying to hold it in as much as I can so that you guys can understand what I'm saying to you. A couple years go by and I'm starting my a new grade in fourth grade, and I started noticing a lot of things. Like I had already known that my sister would go to the room with him alone, and she would just not come out for a while, and then she would come out, and I didn't know what was going on, and we were still getting very much abused. He would do this thing called a burrito, where you put someone in a blanket and you roll them up, and Christian is this really, really fat person. Sorry, I had to blow my nose, so I didn't want you guys to see that. I had to calm down a little. But Christian was this very, very fat person. He was huge. And I'm already short as it is. And, you know, you would wrap someone in a blanket and roll them around, and he would put all his body weight on top of us. And he would just lay there for hours. And, you know, like, we wouldn't be able to breathe because he's so fat, and you just can't breathe because there's literally a giant man on top of you, and you would freak out because you're scared that you're gonna die. Have you ever had a feeling of knowing what death is? Have you guys ever feared for that? Have you guys ever thought maybe this is it? Well, that's what I felt when I was in there. I felt like every time it just felt like days that I was in there. And it just didn't feel... I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to make sure that there's no noise so you guys can just hear me. But, yeah, it was tough being a child and being raised by him. His rules were just ridiculous, and, you know, I was just getting abused on the daily. And there was times where the CPS came on to us twice because I had bruises all over my face and my arms, where I would complain about how I couldn't sit because I was spanked. So it's real, like, I went through it. But when I was around 11, I think, well, 5th grade, it was 5th grade. I remember it was 5th grade because it was like ending of 4th grade, beginning of 5th grade, when he comes up to me and he tells me something that would just completely change my life forever. And he goes, "Leslie, your body is changing. I can see that you're getting beautiful. You're growing up. You're developing into a woman. And I want to be a part of that." And I'm hearing this and I'm like, am I in trouble? Did I do something wrong? What's going on? And he was just saying, like, how I get in trouble a lot. And I was like, I literally don't do anything. You literally just hit me for any reason. Like, anything I do wrong, you'll hit me. There was a point in time where me and my sister and Alex, we had to ask for everything to him, or we would get hit. So we had to ask to go to the bathroom. We had to ask to sit down. We had to ask to sit up. We had to ask to go get food. We had to ask to get water. We had to ask to go to sleep. We had to ask for everything we did. Everything, we had to ask him for it. And I remember there was this time where he locked us in his room, me and my brother Alex. I had to pee and I was scared to pee. That's a basic necessity, to pee. And Alex was like, "Here, you pee in this cup and I'll open the window and I'll throw it out." And I was like, "What if you get in trouble?" And he was like, "Then I'll say it's mine." And we just went through ridiculous things, ridiculous scenarios that we shouldn't have gone through. And so going back to when I was 11, fifth grade or whatever. I think it's 10, maybe. I'm not sure. But he was just explaining how I was changing and how he knows my pain and how he knows that I get hit a lot and that I could avoid that. And I was like, no getting hit? Well, let's hear it. But I didn't think it was going to go where it was going to go. And he goes, for every 4 things you do wrong, I'm just going to take you to the room and I'm just going to look at you in your underwear. And then that's it. That's all you have to do. And I was like, my heart was pounding. Like, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to get hit either. And I was like, why? So he said, I'll let you think about it. And I was like, really freaked out and just disgusted by him. And I tried to avoid it. I tried to see if I waited long enough, would he forget about it? Or I tried to put myself next to Elisa and Alex, or I tried to be in crowded rooms, or I tried to ask my mom more to go to work with her so I could tell her, but he just like completely secluded me. And he just like told my mom, no, don't take her to work, don't take her to work, she's gonna do this and she's gonna do that. My mom never took me to work, and I never had a time to be alone with her. And I think he knew that because he knew that I was gonna tell her. And my brothers and my sisters were just like not my friend at the time. Like, they just didn't really like me. And the time comes where he's like, did you make a choice? And I was like, I need more time. Every single time he would ask me, I was like, I need more time, I need more time. And he was like, nope, this is it. You need to make a choice now. And I was like, no, like, I don't want to do it. And then, like, I think I broke a cup. I don't remember what I did. But he was like, that's it. And he starts grabbing, like, all these weapons. He grabs, like, a cable. And he grabs, the belt. And he starts hitting the couch. He's like, that's it. I'm going to have to hit you, like, 20 times on each one. With each, with a cable and that. And I was freaking out because he was just, like, really threatening me. And he's like, or you can do this. And I was like, scared because I didn't really want to get hit. And I didn't know what this was. And I was like, well, all I have to do is just stand there. And when I went into the room, he closed the door. He sat down. And he took off my shorts and my shirt. And I remember I just couldn't contain myself. I was so scared for everything. I was trembling. Like, I was shaking. Like, my legs were shaking. I was crying. And I was just so confused of what was happening. And I never felt so scared in my life. And he just unbuckles his pants. And he just does his business. How could you just do that when there's a child in front of you crying and trembling? Like, how do you find that? Like, it's just disgusting to the max, because it's like, I was shaking and I was crying. He just didn't care about that. So it went on like that for years. Sorry, I have like boogers on me. It went like that for years. And I was like just depressed as a kid because this was happening to me. And this is really hard for me. So I think the most I went without getting in trouble or hit was maybe like 3 days. And even though he was like, oh, your mom is suspecting things. Your mom is asking why I'm not hitting you, so I have to do it so it looks normal. And so I was getting hit and molested. And it was just the worst. It was the worst for me. I was just completely abused. And I was getting manipulated every day. And it was horrible. Sorry, I keep on pausing it so that, my family just walks by. I don't live with them, obviously. It's another one. But, this goes on for years. And, I start growing more. And he wants more. And there's nothing really I could do about it, so. My childhood was the worst. I was forced to grow up and to feel this and to not know what to do. It was hard. It was really hard living there. So things got really bad towards the end. I remember there was many years where I thought maybe if I just ask him to stop, he'll stop. Maybe if I just tell him to please leave me alone, he'll leave me alone. And I did that. I told him, like, please, like, can you just leave me alone? I don't want to do this. I never wanted to do this. And I'd feel a lot better if you just left me alone. He'd get mad. And he'd be like, who do you think you are? Telling me that kind of shit. You're nothing. You can't be telling me what to do. You're fucking nothing. I could do whatever the fuck I want to you kind of attitude. And he would always tell me that. And I was like, well, I didn't know what to do. Like, he's an amazing manipulator. He uses everything and anything as punishment. And I remember I was even deprived from food for 3 days. I didn't eat, and I felt what starvation was. I remember I had chills. I was so hungry, and I felt sleepy, and I couldn't focus, and I was shaking. And when I even tried food again, it was hard to eat it. It's this weird feeling. Starvation. It is. And it sucks. But there was this time where I told him, like, for my 16th, I don't want to do anything anymore. Like, please, I've done everything for you for 16, like, years. Not for 16 years, but for how long? So, 6 years, I guess? If I was 10 then, or 5 years. I was like, please leave me alone. This is my only birthday wish. I don't want any presents. I don't want anything. I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to go eat. I don't want nothing. All I want is for you to leave me alone. And he said, okay. And my birthday comes around. And I was left alone for like a week before my birthday and like the day of my birthday. And then a little bit longer. And then he comes back and he started saying that I did this wrong and I did that wrong, and then he was like, come here. And then it was just a whole escalation again, and I just had no choice, and I was just stuck, and I was manipulated and molested a lot, orally. And I was forced to, like, do things that I didn't want to do. And he's just a very creepy person. Like, he told me that he wanted me to, like, start going out with people, and so that I could tell him what I do with them. Like, he wanted me to have sex with someone because I was a virgin. That's something he never took from me. It was my virginity, because I completely, like, had that, and that was the only thing that I had. And I was like, he's not gonna be my first. He's not. And I, like, swore it to myself the day that, the first day that I, like, went in that room, and I was shaking, and I was like, once I knew what things were, and I was just like, no, he's not gonna be the first one to be, to have sex with me. I'm never gonna do that ever. Like, that's the one thing I have. And there was many times where he did try to, and, like, I would hit him or I would scream, and he didn't like that. So he was like, okay, I won't do that, then you have that. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then sorry, that's Bubby playing in the background. I'm gonna try to sum it up, but yeah, he never left me alone, and I just get beat, hurt, and he would use school as he would use my education as punishment. Like, if I didn't clean the kitchen, he'd say, oh, you're not going to school. And I'm like, oh, but I have a big test today. He's like, I don't care. And I'd stay home, and then he would just molest me all day, and then I'd clean the kitchen at the end. And it was terrible. It was the worst. And I remember I would tell myself, I'm going to leave when I'm 18. I'm going to leave. I'm going to figure out a way to just leave. And I was plotting my escape for a while. And I was even homeschooled for a bit because he was just scared that I was going to tell someone about it. And I was homeschooled for 6th and most of 7th grade. And then my grades were failing and I wasn't doing anything. So pretty sure the government sent him, like, a letter and said that I need to do something about that. Because I was so young and I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't progressing in anything. And they put me in middle school in Castro. And he was like, this is a blessing. I'm giving this to you. Like, you're lucky that I'm letting you go to school. Like, if I wanted to, I could keep you in online school, and you can keep on failing for all I care, but as long as you don't go to school or whatever. And, like, he's like, but you got to keep on doing these things with me if you want to stay in school. And obviously I was like, well, I don't want to stay home all the time, and I don't want to fail in life, so, manipulation. And when I was going to high school, he just didn't want me to go either, and he said that he was going to put me in online school. And I remember I was just like, please, like, don't do that. I ended up not going into online school, and it was a blessing, and he granted it to me to go to high school. And I was still getting, taken out of school for stupid things, and I would miss a lot. Like, my attendance were really bad. Like, I had, like, 20 plus days missing because he just thought that it was something that he could do. And my last year, so it was like 2017, and then the beginning of 2018 was really bad because he was trying to get his paper so he stopped smoking, and to substitute smoking he would get drunk, and he would just completely rape me almost. Not like that he had sex with me, because he never did, but he would just hold me down and just do whatever he wanted. And I remember there was a time where I was crying. He's like, what do you think you're doing? You're fucking this up for me. Can you stop fucking crying? Like, you're fucking stupid. Like, stop doing that. And it was terrible because, you know, I was actually crying because I was like, is this going to be the rest of my life? Like, how long am I going to be living like this? How long is this just going to go on? How long is he just going to get away with it? Like, how long, you know? Am I just like ass and tits, you know? Am I just, is that all I am? Like, that's all I felt like when I was living there. I didn't feel like anyone. I didn't know what anything was. I just felt like nothing, and I didn't know my purpose in life, and I wanted to die. I had suicidal thoughts. I just wanted to kill myself because I was so depressed. And I was just being treated like someone's doll, sex doll. And I didn't have any opportunities or anything like that. And it was just really hard for me because mentally I was fucked up. And I just couldn't. And I really did think about killing myself, but I thought about my brothers and my sister and how it would go if I just left them. Because my sister was getting molested too, and I couldn't just leave her like that. I had to save her. And so it was really hard for me. It was really hard for me just to stay alive because I was just depressed every day. And I would cry myself to sleep every night because I was just so sad. And I couldn't get out of that. Anyway, 2018 comes, and I remember I told him, this is it. I want to be left alone. I don't want to do anything with you. And I started having courage for myself because I was just so fed up with everything. And I told him, this is the last year ever. If you even think about coming next to me, or if you even think about looking at me in any wrong way, or offer me any bullshit deal, I will tell my mom and I will put you in prison. And he did not like that. He got scared and didn't like it. And he was like, okay, I'll leave you alone. But you gotta clean the whole house or else you won't go to school. You gotta do this and this and this and that. And blah, 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 blah. And then, the end comes. And I was still 17. I was underage this whole time. He never did anything to me after I was 18. But he wanted to. He wanted to. It was 2 nights before my 18th birthday, and my mom had gone to Vegas. I had begged her to go with her because I just didn't want to stay alone with this person. I didn't want to stay alone with him. I just didn't. My sister went with him. Alex wasn't living with us.